Today we had another hearing. It was a continuance. I come up from my home because it's really important for me to see how we're progressing. My dad was a lawyer, so I'm really interested in court and how the process works. And I think also I want to just see D'Angelo and how he's doing. I don't necessarily mean that in a good way. Today he came in chains. He hasn't been in chains in a while, so he came in full chains, probably because he wasn't going to be there very long. And then he also is, again, dramatically thinner. So it's been a year and change. He's definitely thinner. So my dad and Charlene were killed in Ventura in 1980, and I didn't expect that this part of the crime would be my life. I didn't think we'd catch somebody. So for me, this brings something that I lived with my whole life. It makes it tangible and real and in some ways satisfying. And when I write about the case on my own from just basically my point of view, but for me it's an important way for me to express what's going on and to kind of process something that's been so horrific. I'm so grateful to have met so many of the East Area Rapist survivors. They are who I look forward to seeing every time, and we get together afterwards. Today we're heading over to Carole Daly's house, so it's a nice, odd kind of community, but it's really important to me.
Connected in one of the worst ways. I did notice that the court, though, was absolutely packed, mostly with women. What does that say to you?
Oh, this is definitely about women, and there are people in that courtroom who are convinced that D'Angelo was their attacker, but they aren't considered part of the case. There are people who had brushes with him, know that he had tried to break into their window. So those folks, in fact, I just stopped and talked with one of them today. Those folks are, they have as much in this as anybody else. So it's really important for them to be able to come to court. And I think eventually when we get in a bigger courtroom, we might see more of those people because this is theirs too. I'm not sure if it's cathartic, but it's watching the law do what it's supposed to do. And being raised by a lawyer, that's familiar to me. I know how it's supposed to go. It's very imperfect. There are going to be things that happen. They're going to piss all of us off. That's coming, I know. There'll be questions about, are we too much pretrial publicity, too much notoriety? But, when you hurt that many people, I don't know what you're supposed to do. It's going to be something that people pay attention to. For me, I'm not a person who needs the death penalty, although it was extremely satisfying to hear them read that request for the death penalty. Extremely for him to know he heard that, but I don't need the death penalty for me because I know he doesn't do well socially. I want him with other prisoners right now. I want him uncomfortable. I want him watching his back. I want him to be afraid. And that's what I hope comes out of this, that he has to actually be held accountable in that way, with his very person having to suffer that kind of anxiety and stress and terror.